So please let's not use your relationship as a badge of honor. Not my type. Now I don't think there's anybody's type. Okay, we're not interested in that. You don't seem to have the character that I am personally looking for. Now again, when I say you contradicted yourself, and so let's get back on track to the contradiction that you made, and let's see if you have the character to hold yourself accountable. You just told me that the reason why I can't find these quote unquote real men is because they're in my friend zone. I told you I don't have a friend zone. You had no response. Then you said, well, he's not, he's busy.
So there's no
He's
guy
building
trying to
the
hit you up.
future. You said that he's building the future, but then you said that he's in my inbox and he probably makes less money than I. So he's building the future, but he makes less than I do. Make that make sense.
What you mean make that make sense? There's guys that's working on, most men don't get to where they need to get to in life until after 40. Until after 40. A man has
So
to work
then
his whole
I'll
life
see
Very
him
to
at
build
40
problematic.
his,
then.
a
So what's
man
Very
wrong if I
has
see
to
him
problematic.
at
work, a
40?
man
So
has to
what's
work his
wrong?
whole life
So
to
what's
build
wrong
his
if I
wealth.
see him at 40? So why
Huh?
can't I wait until he, so if he's not going to be where he needs to be until he's 40, why should I entertain him before he's 40?
You don't have to entertain him. You can just stay single. It's a choice. Like you said. You don't have to do it.
So what's the issue? I
So
don't,
don't
what are
complain
you,
later on there's no good men.
but if later on is when he's going to be the good man that I'm looking for, why are you trying to force me into it now?
You don't look, let me tell you something. Apparently, you don't know how to date a man because you think men and women think the same. We do not think the same.
Did I say that?
No, apparently you think we think the same. We don't value the same things.
Why do you? How can you say I think I think y'all I? How can I say
I'm gonna let me
that
now.
I
First
think
of
y'all
all, let
think
me
the
backtrack to
same?
what
But
you
I
asked
never
before.
said that.
I said, let me clear it up for you.
I'm
I
laughing
said
because you're
the good
screeching, and
men
it's
are in your
hilarious to
inbox and they
me.
probably make less than you. Majority of men in the United States make under 60K.
But why are
Make
you
under
assuming? Why are
60K.
you assuming? But you're lying
I'm
because
not
you're assuming
assuming
that
those are statistics.
just because you make less money doesn't mean you're a good person.
You're missing what I'm saying. Women refuse to date down.
But
You
if
would
they're
not
in
date
my
a man
if
making
they're
less money than you.
hun,
There is
if
a
they're
lot of
in
men in the world
love,
that make
love,
less money than you. You would
if they're
never look
in my
their
love,
direction.
if they're in my inbox, if they're in my inbox and I'm not responding to them, which I'm not, I don't know how much they make.
Now you
I'm
don't
not
make no
viewing their
sense. You just
profile.
said you don't have a friend zone.
I didn't say they were my friends. I said in my
Oh my
inbox.
God. So you don't know what friend
Listen.
zone mean? So guys gonna be trying to hit you up. You don't just be, oh no, not
That
really.
friend zone means that they try to approach me, and instead of pursuing it as a
How much guys try to
relationship, I
approach you on a
put
regular
them in the
basis?
friend
I said,
zone.
let's clear it
You
up. Let's
can't be
clear it
my
up.
friend.
Let's
You
clear it up
can't be
then.
my friend if I never talk to
All
you.
right, let's
You
clear it up
can't
then.
be
Let's
my
clear it
friend
up
if I
then.
never
Let's clear
talk
it
to
up then.
you.
Let's clear it up then. How much men hit you up on a regular basis?
Thousands. What
Thousands.
about it?
Okay, there's where your good man is at. In one of those thousands.
If
This is
I'm not interested
ridiculous.
in right, like
No,
what?
I want to hear you make
And
a logical answer to that. That's where your good man is at. In those thousands of guys you have not responded to.
She's supposed to
Okay,
court thousands of
can I
men
go
to
off?
find the good man she talking
Hold on.
about.
Right. So apparently,
exactly.
hold on. Apparently, I'm supposed
And
to
then they want to
respond to
complain
everybody.
about body count.
Apparently, I have the time to respond to every single person who messages me. Okay. Which again, if you, I don't know if you're experienced with that, but a lot of times when you have thousands of messages from different people, they're all saying the same thing. So how am I supposed to decipher who's the good man and not? I can't respond to thousands of people. But that's besides the point. The point is that at the end of the day, you said did he or did he not say at the beginning that somebody who is on Instagram, okay, let's say these thousands of messages are coming from Instagram. You just said men are not looking to wife up Instagram baddies.
Recreation use
So
only.
every single one of those thousand people just want to fuck me. So let's get into that part. They're
First of
not
all,
looking for
let's get
love.
into
Why
it.
would I waste my
Every
time to
man
respond
in
to
your
them?
life that wants to get with you is gonna want to bump you. So let's just not talk about that.
Right, but you
Every
did wait.
man.
Oh, actually, let's specifically say
Every
what you said.
man.
No, let's specifically talk about what you said because you said
No,
that
let's
they're
talk about
just
what you
for
just said.
Hold on, you
Every
just said
man wants
that.
to bang
You
you.
just said a woman who's heavily on social media and da da da. They're just for recreational use.
Yep.
So if these men are just looking at me for recreational use, Why should I be responding to them?
That depends. Are you twerking on Instagram?
I'm beautiful. That's why men want to just
That's
fuck
not
me.
what I asked
So
you.
let's
Are you
not.
twerking on
I
Instagram?
don't. No, I don't have any twerk videos on
Okay,
Instagram, but
so
that's besides
you
the point.
should
You
not be
don't have to
expecting
twerk
men.
on
You
Instagram
should
to
look.
be you
If
don't
you're
have
not
to you
twerking,
don't have to twerk on Instagram to be of recreational use. If you're beautiful and men assume that there's plenty of dudes talking to you, and again, I've talked to dudes before. I've dated dudes before. Like I'm not I didn't just make this stuff up. If I'm like bro, I've literally done personal research with dating apps, creating different dating apps to see the type of responses that I will get based off of different things. I can
mm-hmm,
post I made a complete dating app. No makeup, no wig, no anything, not even showing my body, just my face.
mm-hmm.
Still do message me on a sexual tip. Because at the end
Yeah,
of the day, I have dick sucking lips according to men. Stop acting like it has
yeah.
to do with what you do or what you don't do. That's your way to try to control and put fear into women. At the end of the day, I'm beautiful. Men want to fuck me. They're going to look at me for that first. They're going to treat me like that first. Let's stop lying. The only reason that it hasn't happened, I haven't allowed certain things to go on, is because I'm smart enough to ask the right questions to men to see what their true intentions are.
So you trying to tell me right now?
99.9% of those men are not good men.
So you pretty much telling me that there's a man in the world right now that just doesn't want to have sex with you. He really wants to get to know you. No sex.
I didn't say that. You said
So get over yourself when you say all men want is sex. It's a part of life.
that's not what I'm saying.
You over
Listen,
oh my god. You are over
And
here
really quick.
saying
first of all,
all
why are
men
you
want to
getting
do is
so
have
erratic?
sex with me.
First of all, why are you
From the
getting
moment I
so
see my
erratic?
wife,
Why are
I
you
already had
yelling?
sex with her
Can
in
I
my
answer?
mind. And we got married later on. Men are just going to want to have sex with you. Some of them is good, some is bad. You got to pick the good one. That's up to you. But you can't get
Can
mad.
I
Oh,
can I
all
chime in
men want to do is
something
get in my
really quick?
pants. Duh.
Who said I was mad? I'm just stating it as a fact.
To back up what statement, though? I'm
To
listening to
back
back
up
up
the
which statement, though. You
statement
say as a
of
fact to
why
back up
I'm
which statement?
you said why am I friend zoning people? Because those people are not looking to be my
No, no, no,
friend.
no, no.
They're
You
looking to
asked
fuck
me where's
me.
all the good men at, and I said they're in your inbox. You said, "Oh no, all these guys are sending me thousands of nasty messages." So it sounded like
You
you went to
don't
a
even
thousand
I
nasty
know
didn't
messages
that
say
the
that.
and
good
couldn't
men are in
find a
her
man.
inbox.
I
You just
didn't
keep
say
make
that.
general
Can I
statements.
I'm not making general
can I say
statements. I'm
something
making
quick?
logical
Can you guys
You
hear me?
statements.
assuming you
I work with logic.
assuming
I don't work with
that
Hello?
feelings.
the
I
man of
work on
her
how I
dreams is
feel.
in
You're
her
very erratic though.
inbox.
You're very erratic though. Why are you so
Right.
loud? Why are you
All right, look.
yelling?
Can you guys
I don't
Like
mean to be
can
calm
you
loud.
hear
down.
I
Nobody
just
else
talk
is
loud. I just
yelling.
talk loud.
any
And stop distracting yourself from the way I talk and actually get back to what you were saying because you're going everywhere with the topic.
No, I'm not the one going everywhere. You're the one that's going everywhere. Like, yeah, we
Okay,
can hear
once
you.
again,
You
so now,
don't have
now I
to.
got to get us back on track because we keep going off track here again. I said one, IG models are recreational use only. And then I said every guy wants to D you down. You got to find the one that wants to D you down and love you. Then you ask where all the good men at. I said they're in your inbox. Yes, you're going to have a couple nasty messages, but guess what? If you actually lower your unrealistic standards, not your standards, if you lower
Wax.
your unrealistic standards, you will find your Prince Charming.
Okay,
That's
so
all
where
I'm
are you
saying.
assuming? Where is this assumption that I have unrealistic standards coming from? I want to know which what standards of mine are unrealistic.
You're not looking for a man, right? You're not
Just
looking for
answer
one,
the
right?
question. Don't answer my question with a question.
I'm doing
Answer the
what you've been
question
doing
that
this
I
whole
just
time.
told you.
I'm doing what you've been doing this whole time.
I haven't been doing that. Answer the question.
I've been doing
If you
what you've
can't
been
answer
doing
the
this whole
question,
time.
then say you can't.
So I can't. No, I can answer the question. I could definitely answer the question, but you are listening to respond. You're not even trying to hear me out.
I'm literally listening to you. I'm not even responding to you. What are my
You
unrealistic
asked
standards?
me,
I really
where are all the good
want to
men?
know.
And I guarantee you, everybody and every man that's watching right now would tell you they're in your inbox. You overlooked them.
Okay, I hear you. Now what are
Okay,
my
so that's the end of it.
unrealistic
That's it. You
standards?
agreed. You heard me. That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I hear
Hey,
you.
can I say something really quick? I don't know if you guys can hear me, but
Sure, just don't be a beta male.
I'm not a
Wait,
beta
I want
male.
him
I
to
don't know about
answer
that.
that though. He said I had. I want him to finish that though. He said I had unrealistic standards. I
Okay,
want
would
him
you
to
date?
tell
Would
me
you date somebody from
which of my
McDonald's?
stand.
Would you date somebody from McDonald's?
Are you? I thought you
Yes
already had
or
the
it's a
answer
yes or
though.
no
You didn't ask
question.
me these
It's a yes or
questions
no question. It's
before.
a yes or no question. Would you date a man that works at McDonald's?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's a no. Would you date a man that works in Wendy's?
What's crazy is you ask him a question, he
It
won't answer, but he
maybe.
will respond by asking you more questions, and you keep answering
Yeah,
them,
you see,
but
but
It's
telling
I'm
you you're
crazy.
being
see,
You
love,
only
argumentative.
jump in and say
Answer the
something. When you
questions.
get shut up, you turn your
love.
mic off.
You see that
Chill.
he's asking me.
You
Okay,
chill.
he
I'm
made a
sorry. Look,
statement as though
I don't
you
know what kind
already.
of men
He
y'all
made a
You
bumping
statement.
argue
into.
like a
Ain't no
woman.
better man over
You
He
here.
are really in your
he
feminine
he
energy
made
right now,
he
while
made a
everybody else is
statement.
chill.
You're really in your feminine
He made,
energy right
yeah,
now.
he's yelling.
Your weak ass threats.
He made a statement as though he already knew the answer, saying that he made a blatant statement, an
I
assumption
asked you,
about me,
would
saying
you
that I
date
have
a man that
unrealistic
works at
standards.
McDonald's? You said
Right, but
maybe,
you didn't
and
ask
you
me that
laughed about it.
before.
And that's your good
You didn't
man,
make
the
that. You
one that
didn't
works at
say. I'm
McDonald's.
laughing because you didn't ask me that before. You made the statement as though you already knew the answer. You
I asked
made the
you a million
assumption
things before, and
that
you
I
just ignored
already
it.
have high standards. Then you asked the questions that would have been able to get you the answer as to whether or not I have high standards or not. You already assumed that I have high standards. So yeah, it's
You just
funny
said
and I'm
maybe
laughing
you would
because
date
now you're
somebody that works at
backpedaling.
McDonald's. Majority of
But
men
you,
in
before
America
I said
have
maybe,
jobs like
you already
McDonald's.
determined. Before I said maybe, you already determined that I had high standards. And I
Could you be
asked you,
so
how do
not
you
so?
know that? What assumption are you making? You're making an assumption based off of my
I don't need to make
appearance.
an assumption. You laughed under your breath because you know you wouldn't do it. Be
I
honest.
said maybe. That's not a yes and that's not a
Maybe
no. I'm not
ain't
going to
no. There is
indefinitely
no
date.
maybes. It was a
I'm
yes
not
or
going
no.
to
It was
indefinitely
a yes
date
or no.
every single dude who works at
Maybe it
McDonald's.
was a
That
yes
makes
or
no
no.
sense. I'm not gonna date every single dude who works at McDonald's.
Exactly. So
Like
you
that's
won't exactly
that's
why I
silly for
said your
you to even
standards are
say.
too high. Because majority of men in America is
No.
not bringing in that much money.
How are my standards too high for not dating somebody from McDonald's? There's
Because
other jobs.
once again, majority of men in America is not making that much money.
Okay, working at McDonald's is literally one of the lowest forms that you could possibly. You can literally work at a restaurant and
Okay,
make
let me
tips
give you
and,
real
and get more
statistics
than
facts
that.
then. Since examples don't work. Statistically, most men in America make less than 60K.
What does
There's
that have to
actually
do?
more
Okay,
females
so
that
what
make
is your
way
point?
more money than men in the world. But the difference is when you get more money, you want somebody on your level or better. A man, when he gets more money, he would date down. I would be a millionaire and I would walk into McDonald's and wipe the girl up at the counter. You walk in there and be like, look at this broke dude trying to holler at me.
Well, the question is, would you date somebody who was ugly?
Who, me? I'm a
Yeah,
little different because I used to start with the fat chicks, baby. Oh, like I'm huge, baby. Oh, like I'm big. I'm a little different.
fat
I'm a
doesn't
little
Fat
mean
and
different.
ugly are not the
ugly.
same.
What are you
I'm
talking
a little
about?
different, baby.
Exactly.
I'm a little different,
That
baby.
proves nothing.
I'm a little different. Born different, baby.
Wow. And again, let's keep in mind that someone married him, and we're
Bah,
supposed to look at that as gold.
bah. They trying to figure out why you married me. Why did you marry me? Why you married me for?
Um, oh
I'm
yeah,
a
we were
misogynistic,
listening.
right? Why you married me for?
Nobody
Why
said
why
that.
why you got pregnant by me if I'm so bad? I must be keeping you. Oh yeah, hold on. My wife is in the kitchen. Ooh, what are you saying now? She must be depressed. Yeah, the wife is being abused. I'm looking at it. So what are you saying now? Why would somebody marry me? So I'm an asshole. Somebody married me, but you're a good girl and you're single.
By choice. And I didn't
Oh,
say
by choice,
why
right?
somebody. I didn't
By
ask
choice.
why somebody would marry you. I just was pointing out the fact for everybody to continuously remember someone did marry you. Nobody asked why. I just wanted to reiterate that in case anybody forgot. Someone actually chose to marry you.
Yeah, and on top of that, we poly too, so we actually have girlfriends together.
Oh, so now it all makes even more sense. Okay, I'm not even
So,
gonna go.
can I just kind of can I chime in? I've been kind of listening to the conversation for a while now.
Most
In
women have
my
unrealistic expectations. Thank you, brother. They think they look better than they actually do. Thank you, brother.
I've
What?
I've been enjoying the conversation on my work travels here. But I find it I think like if you kind of really step back and really kind of look at everything that's going on right now, I think a bigger part of it is we use statistics, we use numbers, we use generalities, we use like all these things, and everybody's different. Everybody has their different, likes or or preferences in what they want in a woman or what they want in a man. I'm the type of man who feels like I kind of am more in my masculine energy, but I don't use my masculine energy to like dominate or to like control people. Like I believe like even now in conversation, it's like if people are going to listen to what you have to say, they're going to listen to what you have to say. If they
Why
don't,
y'all talking
it's
all
like you
that
just
shit
got to
in the
respect
comments? But y'all ignoring
you.
my comment. The real Miss Apple in the TikTok comments. That's me. Should I type
Oh,
again? Hi. Let me type again.
um,
Hi. Y'all see my comment
uh,
now? Y'all saw it? No? Why y'all quiet? Why y'all ignoring me? I'm talking.
so,
Hello.
so
We
what
see
I
it
So
now.
was,
What do you want?
I'm
oh,
talking.
Jesus.
Oh
Okay,
Jesus,
what do you
what?
want?
What you want? What? Y'all niggas talking shit in the chat. The fuck?
Okay, so address it if you want to address it. Like we don't care.
So who is it?
I
Who's
don't
talking? Who's
care.
talking
Y'all
trash?
bitches gonna die
Add it.
alone.
Add them. Put an
Are
address
you
on
the
it.
wife?
What's good with you?
Yes.
Okay. So why the energy? I mean, what happened? Did
Why
you do
what
something
energy?
wrong?
Y'all
Did I
niggas
say
was
something
talking shit
wrong?
in the chat. I'm addressing it. What's up?
Hey, so
Talk to who you
I
talking
wasn't
to. I'm
No,
not gonna
I
disrespecting.
never
confirm
said
shit.
anything to
Hey,
you.
just a
Energy
heads up,
different
I
now, right,
wasn't
Bob?
disrespecting.
Energy
I wasn't
different now.
disre. Hey, yo,
This
I
man was
wasn't
literally talking.
disrespecting. I wasn't disrespecting anybody. So like, hey, just I let everybody talk, and I sat
Sorry,
and
Miss
waited
Alex.
while you guys were done. So just I'm just kind of trying
Sorry.
to put something out here, and
Funny, he had to
if
get.
it's
Oh, go ahead.
okay, what's that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. No, but my point is I think we use a lot of generalities for everything, and it's like, if if you're trying to force people to believe what you want them to believe, it's like not only are they not going to listen to it, they're not going to like learn from it. And I think that what we're missing right now in society, and we're missing a lot, is to lead by example and not by words. Because I feel like everybody has a platform. Everybody wants to speak with their mind and speak what they think, but nobody really can kind of show with their actions that like what they believe is actual real. And I was just actually talking about this with my wife. It's like you got people, either trying to give some type of advice or saying that this is wrong and that's wrong, but then you look at their personal life and them actually kind of implementing their beliefs, and a lot of times they're not. A lot of the times they're not basically living what they preach. And to me, I've been married, I'm going on 9 years. And honestly, like, I don't know why my wife married me. Like, I didn't really have a lot going on at the time, but, she believed in me, and now things are working and things are moving forward. And I'm actually, the sole breadwinner of the home per se, but it's not because it's something that I had to like impose, or it's something like I have to do this. I think you just gotta let people live their lives and do stuff. But at the same time, if what you believe is not working for you, it's really kind of loses its kind of power, I would say. And I think a lot of people are being told what to do, and they're like, you can't do this, and women that, and but it's like, dude, just worry about your woman, worry about your man, like worry about that stuff, and then kind of change things that way. People look at my marriage, and I'm not saying I'm the perfect example of a marriage, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people who like and actually feel comfortable watching me and my wife interact, because we're figuring it out, but we're figuring it out together, and I think right now in our society, that's the biggest problem. Too many people are talking and not enough people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So now that I'm married, I don't speak for women because I'm not a woman, but I will speak to men and say, dude, be responsible. Like, You want to be treated like a man, but you want to act like a boy in some areas. You got to be a man all the way around through and through. And sometimes being responsible is not easy. Being responsible isn't like the most rewarding thing, but we have to be men in the sense that we have to be responsible. And like I said, I am a little bit more on the masculine side. I'm not saying I'm not going to tell other people how they should live, but I believe that if men are going to be running around saying what women are doing wrong, hey, you better be like flawless in the way you live in order for people to actually believe what you're saying. But if you're not living flawless and you're not doing everything to the best of your ability, if your wife or your woman, whoever you're with, can't speak to you freely, she can't open her heart to you, she doesn't follow you because she loves you and trusts you, then you really shouldn't be speaking about anything. You really should be learning how to take care of your stuff first. And then once that happens, like I had a conversation with my wife the other day, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, babe, like, do you feel like you can speak to me freely regardless of what I'm thinking or regardless of what I said? And she says, well, I can, but sometimes I don't. So now my new job is to say, okay, I need to her for her to be comfortable to just say things straight to my face without worrying about anything. And I think if you really want to be that like alpha male, I think that's where you show you're an alpha male by protecting yours, by being caring, by being like conscious of what's going on and making sure everybody around you doesn't feel like you're just being an asshole. And this is not beta energy. It's not me saying be weak. I run men. I have a company where I run 25 to 30 men at one time, and they respect me because I am responsible, not because of the way I talk, not because of the way I like treat people, and not because like, hey, I'm the boss, do as I say. No, they respect me because I'm responsible. And I think if more men were responsible, if more men did that, it would remove a lot of those, like you guys say, Pookies and Ray Rays, because now those guys will not be so easily, getting all the attention. So I don't know. Like I said, I'll go back to I speak for men and I'll speak for myself.
Thank you, Alex.
Ladies were saying earlier, the men
Alex,
was
that was
taking out the
dope.
home. I do agree with you on the fact that the men do need to be more responsible. The men do need to be more responsible. I gotta 100% agree with you on that, bro. The men y'all gotta be more responsible as men, bro. You got to. I gotta agree with homeboy on that one at least, though. Men gotta be more responsible. I have to learn to be responsible in my own relationships, and I didn't realize how much a relationship really took.
Okay, so Purple, I have a question for you.
Harry, go on.
All right. So if McDonald's, right, on average
Yes.
makes 14K a year, why are you using this logic when by what you said, on average people make 60K? By that logic, you are wrong because the host does not have unrealistic expectations if people on average make 60K.
Okay, well, just to answer your question, the McDonald was an example, and the 60K
It's a bad
was
example. It's a bad example.
now.
It's a
Now it
bad
was a good
example.
example. No, it was a good example. It was a good
It's
example.
bad.
It's an unrealistic example.
No, it's not an
Unrealistic.
example. There are a lot of people that work in the fast food business. It's not an unrealistic example.
You said that people on average make 60K. So by your logic, there are more people available in the dating pool that make 60K. Am I not wrong?
You are
So
wrong.
why would you use McDonald's as an example to say that the host expectations is unrealistic? That doesn't make any sense.
She said maybe. By saying maybe,
Okay,
she
so what?
eliminated
And
so much men that she
That
wouldn't even.
doesn't make any sense. That
that's
doesn't make
not
you
unrealistic.
her
And you
saying. Go
you
ahead.
determined that I was unrealistic before I even responded to a maybe or anything. You just made the assumption that my standards are too high. So again, you are completely illogical and you have no common sense at all.
I have no common sense at all. But you said
You have
maybe.
no common sense at all.
Maybe
You
it's an
assumed that
open
that my
mind.
standards are high.
Maybe is an open mind. Maybe
Yes,
is
because there's
yes
nuances
and half no.
as to why people say maybe. Maybe is
Is
because, and
half
this
yes,
is
half
how
no.
I see. Hold on. This is how I see
If
maybe,
you get
right? This is
somebody
how I
from
see maybe.
McDonald's,
If the
you gonna
host say,
pay for
okay, you
this.
know what? Hold on, perp. You're wrong. If the host said, okay, maybe you make 14K a year, but you might have some emotional intelligence, but you might go to therapy, but you might be doing the work on how to have a healthy relationship, then maybe my chances of dating you is higher, not because of how much you make, but the fact that you're able to be in a relationship and still have, maybe the person might have a bit ambition. No, hold on. The person might have some ambition while they're still working at McDonald's. They could be like, you know what, even though I make 14K a year right now, my goal is that I want to make 6 figures in the next 5 years or 10 years. So you don't know why the host said maybe. You're making that assumption that because the host said maybe, then that means that she has high standards. Just maybe she might be a little bit open-minded to the person before she makes her decision. A lot of people who think logically and their sound mind is going to absolutely going to decline somebody who makes $14,000 a year on average, and they're not doing the work in this society. It's delusional. It is. It's not realistic. So it is more realistic to be with somebody that's actually doing the work beyond how much money they make. It is not that hard.
You telling me right now women can be with men and it's not about money?
I never said that.
You realize?
Did you just hear what I said? Did you just hear what I said?
You realize
I said beyond that, right? Beyond that, right? Cool. You can have that much money, but you can have ambition to reach a goal so that you're financially stable. That could be within the host's maybe. So why are you using this logic of, a person who works at McDonald's on an average of 14K a year, when you said 60K a year is how much people make on average. Your logic is moot. It's moot.
Men. I didn't say people. I said men.
You said McDonald's workers. It doesn't matter if it's a man or woman. It does not matter.
Men. I said men.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
Now it doesn't matter. I said men. What?
No, because nobody hires you based on how the sex you have and pay you based on that. That's not how that works in McDonald's. You make on average $15 an hour, $14K a year. In this society, be realistic. Be realistic. Be realistic. You're not realistic.
I'm not realistic.
The argument went left.
I'm not realistic. I simply said, and I'm gonna state it one more time again.
You made an assumption.
I date the Grubhub driver, the taxi driver, motherfucker that work at McDonald's. Your standards are too high because majority of men.
You live in New York City. You know taxi drivers make more than people in McDonald's. Stop bugging.
Stop. Get off. Just get off.
You're bugging. You're bugging. You're bugging.
You're just stuck on this McDonald's thing, all right? You're just stuck on this McDonald's example for some effing reason.
Because it's still illogical. It is illogical. You are making an assumption of what the host maybe is. What does maybe mean to you? What does it mean?
It could be yes. It could be no.
Why?
Because that's what maybe is. Fuck.
Think deeper than that. Why?
Why what? Why the host said maybe because she probably would it? What?
Think deeper than that. You're not at the no. Think deeper than that.
I don't tie feelings to logic. I'm not about to say, because I feel. I feel doesn't make up rules.
That's not how that works. You know that proper dating etiquette. You know that proper dating etiquette is to see if somebody has stability in relationships. Am I correct?
All right. What
stability, right? Stability. Yes or no? Am I correct?
Is needed.
Stability.
What is needed for him to have that?
You need to have money, correct?
Boom, I'm done.
To be stable.
I'm done.
Okay, so $14,000. You can definitely say that there are people that live in this life that make minimum wage, correct?
Once again,
and they are still stable.
McDonald was an example. Majority of men.
But you no. Majority
of men in United States.
You said out of your mouth that on average people make 60K a year.
I'm not talking about 60K.
You said that out of your mouth. Men. So by that logic, when I'm saying, and this is what I'm going to say 100%, using your logic, on average that people make 60K a year, and you're saying that the host is unrealistic because she said maybe about a 14K a year job. That is not
Once
unrealistic.
again.
That is not unrealistic.
Secondly,
That's not
McDonald's
unrealistic.
was in
That
existence.
means that the host has a likelihood to date more people who make more than just working at McDonald's. So she is not limiting her view. She's not out of reality. None of that.
What, did you not
It's
understand?
still
As
realistic.
a woman makes more money because she refuses to date down, her options dwindle.
She never said she refused to date down.
This whole conversation has been about ambition, money, guys making money. What are you talking about? Like, you literally just walked in like half an hour ago.
No, dude, no.
real quick.
You asked her whether or not she would date somebody from McDonald's, and she said maybe because you gave her the most limited information. So she made an answer based off of this limited information. Who is this guy? What are his likes? What are his dislikes? What's his personality? What's his sign? How long has he been working at McDonald's? Let's be honest, McDonald's is actually a teenager starting job for the majority of people in America. Let's be real. How about we use something different? How about he got a job at a bank as a starting position as a teller? How about that? They make great money. They make good money starting off. You want to use the average of $60,000 a year, then let's do something more realistic towards your average. Let's do that, because as was stated originally, starting off at McDonald's, you're going to make $14K. That's nowhere near your average.
McDonald's was an example.
Okay, and it was a poor one.
Bad example.
You guys are crying about McDonald's.
Now, a couple things that you're giving off to me. One, you're giving off insecurity. I just want you to know that. As a forensic psychologist, you're giving off insecurity. You are saying all of this stuff about women, but you only said one thing about men, and that was agreeing with Alex that men need to step up and take more responsibility. Everything else has been put on the women. Everything else that comes out of your mouth has been put on the women. Now, in regards to that, you're also, I really feel like you need a man pond, because you really have some emotional issues going on right now. It is not that serious. We're trying to have a civil conversation and a discussion, and you are over here having your man period. We need you to calm down. Okay? Dating down, women have dated bums and scrubs. Why do you think the song Scrubs came out? Because women have dated bums and scrubs. Women have dated bums and scrubs for way too long. So before you say a woman will never date down, how long have we all had those evil exes that we don't talk about, that were scrubs and dicks that we don't talk about because they were bums and they were nothing? They wanted to do nothing but have us do everything. We've all been there.
You know what they say, Artemis? You know what they say?
Artemis? You chose to be with
psychologically speaking, you don't know every woman's history, and to act like you do is narcissism. Sociopathic.
You know what they say, Artemis? They be like, oh, my car is in the shop. My car is in the shop. I don't have no job. All of that shit. Ladies, y'all have been through that. Y'all have met a man that was like, my car's in the shop. I don't have no money right now. I can't come to see y'all. Come on now.
And the way you talk about
You acting like in reality, women have not dated men that did not make no money. We all have done it. We all have that experience.
We've all done it.
Majority of us.
And it was
so
our
at the
choice,
end of the day, we realized that, this doesn't serve us anymore. So why not have a man with stability? Because we can see that a stable man makes sense, because we want stability as well.
Doesn't
which is
stability
why
include
we
money?
became stable
level of money, your
women.
idea of stability, my guy, is completely different. It doesn't all come down to financial. It comes down to, what about your family life? I've dated some people that had some horrible toxicity in their family, and it bled onto them. That's not stable to me, because now you're bleeding that crap into our personal life. That's not stable. Keep your personal life and keep your family or professional life separate. So it doesn't all come down. It does not all come down to financial. Stability means a lot of different things. Can you reciprocate what I give you? If I give you nurture and love and kindness, can you reciprocate that? That shows me you're stable emotionally. Mentally, if you have a career, depending on, I don't give a crap what your career is, but if you have been in that career field, you're not bopping from job to job to job to, I'm in between. No, that shows me mentally that you are stable. And if you make good money, that shows me you have been in your career long enough to move up the chain. And that shows me stability right there.
That's crazy how you guys say it's not about money and then you describe everything to do with money. How you say it's not about money and then describe everything?
Did I not just give examples of emotional, mental, and
say the last thing you just said again.
and then how
Oh,
that
you
could
listening with
lead
your
up.
feelings. Stop listening
Yeah,
with your
really.
I'm not
feelings.
listening with my feelings.
Right.
Because this shit makes no damn sense.
Can I chime in, ladies? How y'all doing?
Hi,
Good
Boo
evening
Man. How are
today.
you?
Good, good. I
Mhm.
really like to answer that question for the young man if I could. You can't be stable without having a financial component
Thank
with
you.
stabilization.
Thank you.
We just said exactly what you were saying.
Yeah.
You made the argument
He's
that
going against what
60K
you
of
just
people
said.
on average,
Goofball.
on average, people make
Here she go
60K.
again.
And you use that analogy of minimum wage when it does not make up the people on average. Calling the host maybe a little bit delusional for seeking men that made a little bit in between 60K and might be a little bit under 60K and it's intentional with dating them. The host said maybe.
You
Nobody
know what?
said that money is not important. Nobody said that. But what I'm saying is that even if the host says maybe, there may be many nuances as to why the host says maybe. Because let's be honest here, there are people that exist in society that still date down. They date down. Many of us have dated down. We all had that experience. But women today are saying because of that experience, we can acknowledge that yes, I'm still open-minded to dating down, but I recognize though is that there is a benefit to having someone stable, not somebody rich, not somebody wealthy, none of that. Just stable. And any type of stability does not have to do with how much money you make. You can make 14K and still have a smart way of how to deal with your finances. Don't ask me, ask my mama, because you know how I know this? I was homeless before. And my mom, she made the minimum of minimum wage. And she knew how to take care of me and my siblings while we lived in a one bedroom, but she was still a stable woman. We exist. People exist. People like that exist. So
You know, lady audience.
stop making that seem like, oh, just because you work at McDonald's doesn't mean that you can't have a stable life. It just means that maybe I might be open to it.
Did I say working in McDonald's mean you don't have a stable
You're
life?
literally making it look like people don't date down.
Quiet.
People
Did I
do.
say that though? Or you
But
assume
there,
that?
Don't tell
There's
her
a lot
to
of
be
assuming.
quiet.
But did I say that though?
if I could, you guys, there's reasons. If I feel like this, if a woman knows her
You're
self
not talking about McDonald's. Thank you. My bad,
if a
bro.
woman knows her self worth and her value, it's not out of this world that she will want to reach up. You follow what I'm saying? And especially if she already had the experience of reaching down far too many times, she don't want to be pulled down. Reaching down isn't the worst thing in the world, but being pulled down is absolutely not an option. You follow what I'm saying? And most of the time, that's what happened. Someone that's on a lower dating scale, what happens is they when they when they date up, what they do is get in their psyche that, oh, she's feeling me, and once that happens, somehow they in their cognitive psyche they start thinking, oh yeah, now I could date any woman up here on this bracket. But we kind of lose the fact that, wait a minute, somebody just pulled you up, and instead of you actually bringing yourself up, you kind of live off of the person that pulled you up. That's not good either. And then you drain all that the energy that they brought to the table. You follow me? And you didn't even bring a chair. You follow me? And look, and I'm telling you, I was that guy. I was that guy maybe 25 years ago. It's not cool. It's not cool. And it was no good for the person that brought me up. Now, on the other hand, and I say this to my own shame. On the other hand, now I make the money where she was looking for me to make, and she's nowhere to be found. Somebody else is enjoying that life. That's why most women don't want to date down, bro. And she shouldn't have to. To the host, you shouldn't have to. And you also shouldn't be made to feel bad because you don't want to. Especially if you have any experience looking at anybody in your family that having all friends that having already gone through it. Am I making any sense? Ladies,
I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I don't feel bad at all. I don't feel bad at all. I just think it's funny. But there are some women that do feel guilty and do feel bad. So that's
they
definitely something
shouldn't.
that needs to be stated. Why would I feel bad about
Saying you should not.
having
And you
boundaries and
shouldn't.
standards?
Yeah, you should.
Like, and then again, the sentiment that is now again there's a lot of assumptions and it keeps being stated. Well, why I said maybe or whatever. I mean, it's not even that hard. First of all, you asked me about dating, and maybe I'll admit I'm not fully sure of what the definition that you're using for dating, because apparently I've been told before that my definition is wrong. But I believe, to me, I feel like in a way, dating and a relationship are two different things.
Right.
So if you
Yes,
ask me
they
what
are.
I
You're right.
It
You're
is.
right.
It
Okay,
is.
I thought so, because to me it's like you asked me, will I date somebody from McDonald's? So I paused and I'm like, I mean, yeah, maybe, because dating doesn't mean I'm gonna be in a relationship with you. We can
Absolutely.
date and get to know each other and go out and do whatever, maybe. But in a relationship, if I would I be in a relationship with somebody who works at McDonald's? No, probably not, because you're not gonna be financially stable. So I'm not gonna be in a relationship with somebody that's not stable and financially, mentally, physically, or spiritually, or anything like that. And that's just common sense. Like, that doesn't make sense. Well, why would I do that? So
But my
you
question
feel
is,
like
right, if that person had goals, right, would you be open minded to the goals that they have and ambitions in their life and they're
say
actively
maybe they
taking
work at,
attention to
maybe you
that?
can work at multiple jobs though. Maybe they work at McDonald's and they work
Exactly.
somewhere else or whatever. And then they're financially, maybe they work at McDonald's and then they have a business on the side or something. Like
Right.
you say
Exactly. Exactly.
it's
But we're
about if
looking
you're
at low
financially
level
That's
stable.
all
If
employees.
you
my
can
argument
support
was. That's
yourself,
it.
We're
yeah,
looking at
you
low
can
level
support
employees at
yourself.
McDonald's. I believe a GM makes somewhere around 80 grand a year.
Yeah,
At
nobody's just automatically like look. And then but you're talking about in my DMs. From my DMs I can't tell who works where, so I'm not intentionally curving people because of the money that they make or the money that they don't make. I
I get
don't
Literally.
that
know
part.
what money.
I get that part.
That's all I was saying. You don't know why
Literally.
people say maybe. You cannot assume that just because somebody says maybe
I was
doesn't mean they
right.
won't date
But
down.
hold on, I was
I'm
right though.
challenging you, Perp. Hold on, Perp. I was challenging you
But
to
I was
think
right.
about them. Hold on. I
You
was
weren't right. You asked about whether I
challenging
would
you to
date them or
think
not.
about the nuances and maybe you are right to an extent, but you did not take into
Extent?
account, hold on, you did not take into account why somebody said maybe. That is my argument. My argument was
She
never
just
that
explained
women,
herself.
hold on, my argument was never that women wanted stable men. My argument was never that. My argument wasn't
Yeah,
never
but that's not the
would
only
not
point.
date
Because
somebody from
see, this is
McDonald's.
what the
I'm
issue is.
saying the
If you
reason
ask
why people
me
say maybe, there's a reason why behind that. That's
if
all
you
I'm
ask
saying.
me if you ask me without giving me any other information, because you're trying to purposely get me to answer in the way that already confirms what you already believe to be true, you're not actually listening to see what my true answer is. If you ask me, will I date a millionaire, just right off rip, no information, I would also say maybe. I'm not just gonna date somebody just because they're a millionaire. What else do you
Seriously.
have?
What exactly?
What is
What
your
else are you
character
bringing to
like?
the
That's
table?
what I'm looking at, number one.
Exactly. Just because
That's
you're
it.
a
That's my
millionaire doesn't
argument.
mean
That's
anything.
it.
You can be a narcissistic sociopath and you can be abusive. Just because you have money doesn't mean anything. But the man that comes to me that is working his tail off, making $13,000 a year, could be the sweetest, most nurturing, comforting thing. He might have a studio apartment, but you know what? That apartment is his. He's always got groceries. He's got money on the side to make sure his bills are paid, and he's got play money because all his needs are met. That to me is stability. He is able to not only nurture me
Right.
emotionally, mentally, he's able to be there for
That's
me.
it.
He's not abusive. He builds me up, which would be mutual
Mm-hmm.
because I would build him up at that point because he's got his own place. Bills are never in question. Him being homeless is never in question. Him never having food is never in question. And me being in an emotionally, mentally, or physically abusive
And
relationship
can
is
we
not
say
in
the same
question.
Wasn't that my
thing?
point?
is not in question. No, see, you just said money was stability. Money makes everything. No, it's not. It is not
That
only
wasn't your
about money.
point.
It's
You could be
not.
a millionaire, like
Exactly.
the
Everything
host
you
just
just
said.
described
You
required
could
For
be a
money.
men that
millionaire
make
and you could be a
money. Yeah,
narcissistic sociopath. You
exactly.
could be a millionaire
Everything
and
you
be an
just described
abuser.
required money.
So no, it is not about the money. I don't give a damn if you're a millionaire. I'm not going to be with you if you're an abuser. I don't know you. Just because you have money does not make you fine AF. It makes you a millionaire. That's it. End of story.
You know you just proved my point, right?
That's
You know
it.
I just contradicted yourselves, right?
No.
You didn't
Yes, you
prove
did.
your point. You said the
Yeah. First
absolutely. You
host,
said absolutely
you
the
just explained
opposite.
to
There
me
was
how I
nothing
was right.
similar
After
about
you
what you
just said,
said
I
and
don't
what
know
she
why you
said.
said that, and you just proved my point. You literally just said, well, if you're working at McDonald's, I know he's not ambitious, and that's everything I was talking about. And we just agreed
No,
that you agree with
no,
me,
you
and that
still
this
not
means that
listening. You're
females
not
get time, right?
listening.
No,
And then that's
That's
what
not
you
what we
said.
said. You're
you're
not. See,
hearing
this is
what
what
you
I'm saying.
want to
You're
hear.
listening with your emotions.
You're
We
hearing what you
just
want to
said
hear.
the maybe is behind that, right? So what does maybe look like?
I
Just
just said my thing. Did
because
she not just say? She not just say if he's working at McDonald's, that probably means he's not ambitious. So I probably would not.
probably
She
keyword
literally just
probably
Who
said
said
that.
is
that?
links to maybe. Probably links to maybe. That is
She
saying that hold on.
literally
That
Hold
just
is
on.
saying that I
Hold
have
on,
an
because I know
open
damn well I
mind
didn't
about
say
the
that. Who are you
person.
talking about?
Ladies, ladies,
Literally.
For real,
for
just
the
a
sake
bit
of the
there.
argument, for the sake of the argument, please tell me who said something about more good men probably would have lower paying jobs. I heard that when I first came in.
He's saying that.
He
I
is
said what?
saying that. And yet women
He's the
make
one that's
60% of
implicating
what
that.
men make.
He
What?
said that.
Y'all
You just
completely
using his
putting
logic
words in my
against
mouth.
him.
He's
I
saying that
said
real
what
men
I
are
said,
friend
but
zoned in the
you're
DMs. He's saying that real men are friends, have been friend zoned, and that apparently I specifically am friend zoning men in the DMs, and that I'm overlooking the real men, the good men, because they probably don't make as much money as I do. So he's trying to say the same rhetoric that a lot of other men say that, and then he also specifically say that if it's a guy who makes $100,000 a year, he has all this money. He's saying that that man probably is out cheating on you, probably is out playing with you. So
I said
all I
that.
said was you directly said that.
I
So
said
then
I
I'm
talked about men
saying
cheating. I have not spoken about men cheating this whole life.
then that might have been another dude.
So why you put
I
it
don't
on
know.
me?
Cause I didn't know. I forgot. Why are
You good.
you
I'm just
so?
messing with you. Go
Why are
ahead,
you
though.
so erratic? Like, but I'm pretty sure it was
Girl,
you.
y'all been
But
pushing my buttons all night, man. Let's go though.
calm down. Anyway, someone stated that there was this assumption that just because a man makes $100,000 or he's like has a lot of money or whatever, then he's probably out cheating on you. So then I'm saying that, and then there's this assumption that the real men, the good men, you're overlooking because they probably make less money than you. So that's automatically you can deduce that you're
Poor man.
assuming that someone who makes less money means that they're probably not they're most likely not cheating on you. And so I'm saying it's a lie. Just
I
because you don't
never
make that
said
much
that.
money doesn't mean that.
Yeah, you established that. She got that point, bro.
That's what you're saying. That's
I
what you're
never said.
inferring.
I have
I'm
never
not.
said anything
Yeah,
about
Look,
cheating
you
look,
did.
whatsoever.
I even
look.
walked in
I'm
when you
not
said
gonna
I've
keep
that.
going
never
over
said
this with you.
anything about
But
I'm
you're,
not
cheating
gonna keep. I'm
but
whatsoever.
not
did
gonna
you
keep going
say?
over
But did
this
you
with
say
you.
though
I'm
is
not gonna
that
keep doing that with you.
the
Go
host is
ahead. What
not
did I say? I'm
looking in their
listening.
inbox, right? The host is not looking at the people that they should be picking is in their inbox. Is that what you said?
Say it again.
Did you
You
say
said
that the
that she's
host?
not looking at people in her inbox and that her soulmate, the one for her, could be in her inbox, but she's curving them or friend zoning them, and
Yeah.
that
No,
could be the
what I
one.
said,
So that's
out of the
insinuating what
thousands
the
of men
host
that hit her
previously
up,
said.
there
Then
are men in her inbox. But she already said she can't go through 1,000 messages. That's why we left it alone.
and
She
did you
said
say
if I
that to
got 1,000
counter
messages, I
what was
can't go
going
through them.
on? Did
Stop
you say
twisting
that
my
to counter
words.
that? Okay, so that's what you're inferring.
Where am I? I never inferred anything about cheating. Let's just put that out
It's
there.
the gaslighting for
He
me.
actually did say that, but
I
okay,
never said if he
whatever.
make more money, he ain't gonna
Anyway,
cheat. He
the
make less money, he's
assumption
not.
was
I've
being
never
made
said
that
anything like that.
apparently poor men don't cheat. That was the
I've
point
never
of
said
it.
poor
And I
men
was
don't.
trying to
I've
set
never
that
And
up.
said
I
that.
can tell
I
you,
said
poor
what I
men
said
do
was
cheat.
you guys
Exactly.
Poor
are
men
That's
basing
will
what
the
I'm
men
cheat.
saying.
off of the Pookies and Ray Rays that you dated.
I don't date.
Good Lord.
Sweetie. I just need you to understand that your relationship and your standards don't speak for the majority or for all. Okay? I need you to understand that.
You are right,
Whomever it
because
is that we date
you
and
dated Pookie
whomever
and Ray
we
Ray, not
build a
me.
dating history with is our business. And whom we choose to build a life with, that's our business.
So
So,
don't
like,
complain.
this
Pookie
whole,
left a
your
good man. If you
pookies,
picked
all
him.
your pookies in your DMs, and you need to give this man a chance, but nah, the men that are making all this money, and like, dude, all I'm
Once
hearing
again,
is
as she
gaslighting,
asked, were the good
insecurity,
men,
and
and I said the
I'm
good man
hearing
was
you
in her
talking
DMs.
circles.
I
I'm
never
hearing you
said
talking
Pookie was in her
circles,
DMs.
which someone even in the comments, classic narcissistic sign. When you deflect, you can't answer direct questions, you push blame on other people, you can't accept responsibility, and then you're finding ways to
Who I
poke
blame?
holes and
Who I
try and
blame?
poke
And you
holes
can't even
in other
admit that
people's
you're wrong when your
security.
logic is debunked.
It is.
Y'all have not, y'all
Like
have
Maybe
not
gaslight
all
debunked my
you
people's
logic
talk.
logic.
whatsoever. I
You
still
try to
stand
poke holes
corrected.
in other people's logic, and you avoid responsibility for things that you said, and
What do I need to
you
take
try to
responsibility for? No,
gaslight
no, slow
and
down.
backtrack. When did I
What am I
ever say that?
gaslighting, and
Everybody,
what do I need to take
all
responsibility
400
for?
people in here heard you, my guy. Like all 400 people. Don't try and gaslight every single one of us, because I'm promising you, guy, we
How
all
am I
heard
gaslighting?
you.
Let's ask a question. What did I say that's gaslighting?
What haven't you said that's gaslighting? Let me do what you do.
Oh, now you can't answer the question.
No,
Typical. Think with your
Oh,
feelings.
how does it feel to have a question answered with a question? How does that feel?
It feels like you're answering a question with a question. It's not supposed to feel no kind of way.
Isn't that what you do, though? Answer questions with questions and deflect?
What?
Yeah,
Is it,
process it
this
for a
is
minute,
just
honey.
want to
I got a man
argue.
pun for you in case you get
And that's
emotional.
how
It's
we
okay.
know.
Process it.
no,
Process it.
she's not single. She's in a relationship. Lady Artemis is in a relationship. I believe
I'm
she's married.
married
It's
with 3
okay to admit
children.
that you're
Wait,
wrong.
who?
You're wrong.
What deal?
Actually,
I'm
I'm not
married.
wrong.
I'm
I have
married
not
She
with
been
must
3
be with a
ghosted.
kids. So
deal. She don't got no man.
What you said?
I said it's okay for you to admit that you're wrong.
Where was I wrong at, though?
Exactly.
Where was I wrong at?
That's my point.
Where was I wrong at?
That ain't no point. What is this?
Now they can't answer. Where was I wrong at?
Y'all, he don't even know if he's wrong because he's never wrong.
Y'all think it's because y'all jumping me as a 3-on-1 with females that I'm gonna fold or something? Ain't no folding over here.
They don't have no logic.
There's no thank you, brother. Thank you.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, he's this. He's not.
Another
Oh, he
question.
probably is. He probably beats with like when
It-
you don't get your way, it was
hey,
all
Perk, can
insults.
you shut up? If this dude is on your side, shut up and let
Well,
him talk.
Kate,
God
hold
damn.
on,
He don't
Kayla,
need to be on my side.
go ahead and
He just sees logic.
debunk my logic. Then, Kayla, hold on, because what I said was this man said out his mouth that on average people make $60K a year.
No, I did not.
And he
I
used
said
McDonald's.
men.
Hold on, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I did not say
It doesn't
people.
matter.
I
It doesn't
said
matter.
men.
Okay,
Men.
let's say that.
Your
Let's
average
say
man
that.
in America
Right?
makes
It
$14,000,
doesn't matter. It doesn't
$60K.
matter. He still used that logic. Hold on, because I want you to debunk my logic, because you said that we are
Say
not
it
logical,
correctly.
right? Hold on. He said men, right? And we know, regardless of the fact that people in McDonald's on average make $14K a year.
Back to McDonald's
That would include men, right?
Back to McDonald's.
Right?
Men.
And if the host said maybe I'll
Y'all
date
twisting
them,
my words for real.
how do you debunk that? If hold on, because now you gaslight. I want you to answer me this, Kaylin.
Go ahead.
If that is the case, let's just go by his words, right? Right? Let's just say that. How is it illogical that the host is still seeking out people that make more than people that make $14K a year in McDonald's? How is that illogical?
I ain't even sure if you answered the question or you told
I
the
don't
story just
know
now.
the host.
I'm
I
asking
don't know where
Kaylin.
she
I'm asking Kaylin because Kaylin said
She told the story and asked a question.
that women in here are illogical. So I'm asking you a question, Kaylin. How is it illogical if there's a small, the people that in McDonald's only make $14,000 a year, and it's illogical for the host to be, you're not answering my question.
I will. I'm asking
Even my
why
wife
y'all
asked, what
still
was the
using
question?
McDonald's.
I'm waiting. That's what Purple said. I didn't say it.
You
The
completely
whole
twisted my
McDonald's
words
thing is
around.
crazy.
Everything you said is not what Purple
I'll
said.
say this.
How is
I'll
it
say this. The
illogical?
average black man, hold
It's
on. The average
giving,
black man in the United
it's
States
giving
makes 38,000
narcissistic
a year.
vibes.
The average black woman makes 33,000 a year. Why are we talking about money?
See, now you're deflecting. You didn't answer my question. Now you're asking me. You're doing
You didn't
exactly
ask
what
a
Purpose
question.
doing. You didn't answer my question.
You didn't answer
So
mine.
if you're saying that we are illogical, why can't you just answer my question? How is it illogical for the host to be open-minded?
You asking him and you asking me.
Open-minded, what? Dating
No,
somebody at McDonald's?
so you're not logical either. So you're not logical either, because you can't even logically debunk what I just said.
What?
You talking to him? You talking to me?
I'm not trying to debunk what you're saying,
If
love.
you're talking to
I'm
me, I
trying to
will
get an
debunk you.
You're not
understanding of
logical
what you're
either.
saying.
You're not logical either. You didn't answer my question.
I'm not logical. You the guy saying that? Oh, when I
She
get
don't
with a
even
man,
know what
it's
the
not about
question
money.
is. What is your question? Say it right now. She don't even know.
I just gave you my question like
Exactly.
3 times. 3 times.
No,
You still
baby.
haven't answered.
You
I'm
gave a
waiting.
whole synopsis.
What was the question?
All about money. Out of curiosity, if it's all about money,
It's
then can we address
You acting
how
like
the
a
host
child.
even said?
Why you acting
Can we
like a
address how
child?
the host even said she wouldn't even date? She's not even sure if she would date a millionaire. That's just a guy saying, okay, I'm a millionaire. All he would be is a millionaire. She doesn't know him. Just because he has money does not mean that is the man for her. There is
But she
more to
also
That's
said
stability.
cap.
if he's
There,
working
That's
in
wait,
cap.
I am still
McDonald's,
talking.
he's
That's
I
not
am
cap.
that
still
ambitious, so she
talking. Man
probably would
pun.
not date
The
him.
Man
question was,
pun.
She
how
literally
is
just
it
I
said
am
that.
still
illogical? That's all I
talking.
asked.
Man pun, chill. I am still talking. I am still talking. So being a millionaire doesn't mean anything because you can be broke and be an abuser or be rich and be an abuser. It doesn't matter. She doesn't know the guy. So the money does not matter. It is
Why?
who you are. That
Why
doesn't
every
mean
time we talk
That's
about that
stability.
topic, we
bullshit.
talking about
What about
abuse? Nobody's
emotional
spoken about
stability,
abuse.
mental stability,
Who hurt
emotional
you?
and mental health? What about that?
Every time we get to that specific
There's more to
topic,
a
you
relationship than
always say
money.
the
But
man's
you keep
abusing.
bringing it back
Why do you
saying that,
always
oh
bring that
no,
up?
women wouldn't date lower, and we have told you we have, because we personally have experienced dating lower guys, and we have
I get
learned,
that, but why
okay,
every
we
time
don't
we
want
talk
no
about money
scrubs.
status,
End of
you
it.
turn
Lady,
around and
Lady
say,
And
"Oh,
Artemis,
you let
can
being
men
a
you
abuse you
please
too
scrub,
stop
much."
saying that
being
you date down?
and being a oh, you're
Can you
sweet for
please
that.
stop saying that you date down? You do not date down, love.
You don't
Please
date
stop
down,
saying
Oh,
Lola.
that.
sweetheart,
No.
So you
I
don't date down.
have.
Just be real.
Trust
Don't
and
date
I'm
believe,
down.
I
talking to
have.
Lady Artemis. I haven't seen the
I
rest of
have,
you.
honey.
No, you haven't.
Oh, so
I
you
saw
No, you
oh
you.
don't.
you're
Yeah,
proving
don't
my
date
I
down.
looked
point
at your
then.
page.
You're proving
You
my
not dating
point. You
down?
made the
It's bringing
assumption.
narcissistic
You're
vibes.
making that assumption. Thank you, Kaylin. You just proved my point. Thank you.
Lady
Sweetie, that
Artemis, you're not dating down. I saw you. And men like it women
You're
look a
making
certain
that
way. You are
assumption.
not
you're
dating
very sweet for
down.
that,
Stop
but
saying it.
she no, my friend is right here. You that as sweet as you are for saying that, that is an assumption, and I can tell you out of all honesty, I have dated down and I have dated an abuser before. That is how I can say it was not about the money, it was not about his education, it was what he brought to the table at the time, and what he brought to the table at the time was a facade, and then I found out who he really was, and it was
And
an
that's the
abusive
point.
person,
What do
and
you
that's
think a
That was
man
the
should
whole
bring to
point.
the
That
table
was
for
the
you?
whole point.
Hold on. What do you assume a man is supposed to bring to the table for you based on your looks?
I think Lady
they,
Artemis has explained perfectly what we had expected from men to bring to the table, right? Lady Artemis just claimed that it's not about the money,
That's
it's
who I was
more
talking
about
to.
that, right?
Now you're lying
Right,
again.
right, right, right. So what did Lady Artemis say that is more important than money? What did she say? I'm asking you, Kaylin. What did you hear?
For me, for men, it's looks.
No
We
way.
want our to look a certain way. And if you don't, and she
Nope.
keep talking about
She capping,
dating
bro.
down because she
She
is
capping, bro.
down.
No,
If
that's
you're
not
not
what
She
Lady
looking a
capping.
certain
Artemis
way,
said. Lady
Stop
Artemis just gave you good examples. This is why emotional intelligence is important, right? Because if you have emotional intelligence, you would be able to grasp what Lady Artemis is saying and why they said it's not about the money. It's a little bit more than that. No matter if you make $14,000 a year or you make $60,000, if you make $1,000, $100, who cares? What is Lady Artemis just answered your question that you just asked. So I'm asking you, okay, learn, right? Because you're the most logical here. I'm not the most logical according to what you're saying. I'm asking you, what did Lady Artemis say?
Stop the cap.
I was speaking towards what she's
capping. Stop capping. Stop the cap. Mad cap.
Is it just asking the question? I can't hear him. I can't understand him. Can anyone else?
Because when you hold on, not finished. Y'all have an overinflated.
And that proves my point. But anyways, I gotta go. I mean, it's been a whole circus. You know what I mean, host? I don't want to hold you up. This has been very entertaining. But this has proved my point that men say that, oh, you're so logical. We're so logical. No, they're not. Because when I ask them a logical question, you know what they do? Silence. Radio silence. All they had to do was... No. You didn't even answer it. You did not answer it perfectly.
I answered your question.
All he had to do was give the list that Lady Artemis just said. You don't have to cater to your emotions, guys. And this is just the men in the chat, right? Because listen, I'm gonna leave with this. I expect y'all to be better, right? I expect y'all to be the leaders that you're saying that y'all are. But when I ask a question and you can't answer it, you're not showing me that you're a leader, because even you don't even have the skills to have emotional intelligence to answer the things that were just said. Since you are saying that I'm not the logical one, right? Prove me that I'm not the logical one. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. But I gotta go. I digress.
The cap is real. The cap is real. Give me another hat, bro.
What is going on up here?
Hey, Jerry.
Cap is real.
What's up, Lady Artemis?
How are you, sweetie?
Emotional intelligence to answer a question?
I'm trying to figure out what's all the screaming about, people. What's the trouble with the question and answer part of the program?
I got one question though. Is it about good men, or is it about who makes what and how much?
It's about good men.
Then
flat out.
Why are we talking about money and average amount and all of that?
That's what that's literally what host and what Cassia were just saying. I said, it doesn't matter about money. It really doesn't. That's why we women can say we have dated down before and we have experienced what it's like to date down, meaning they were not emotionally stable, mentally stable. They had things going on that were not okay. And we were not good in that relationship. We gained experience and knowledge from that. And what did we do? We dipped out, and now we know, okay, I don't want a man like that. I don't want that in a partner. All right. What I want in a partner is someone who's emotionally available, who will communicate.
There is no good men working in McDonald's. Are you saying that there's no good men working?
I definitely didn't say that, honey. So don't come at me with that. That wasn't me.
No, I'm just asking though. I'm just asking.
No, there are good people who work at McDonald's,
because that's what we're talking about.
Well, we don't know that.
There are good people, but we don't know them. We don't know. I don't know. I don't know them from Adam. I don't know them from a stranger on the street. So what am I supposed to do? What do you expect us to do?
It's not about good men. If you're talking about dating down, it's not about good men. You're looking for a good man. It's not about dating down. If a good man is in McDonald's, you dating a good man in McDonald's, it's not dating down.
Okay, dating down. Let me be very clear. Dating. Yeah, really. Dating down. Did you? And you caught. I saw you in the comments. You tried to get on me for saying now you're speaking from your own experience. Yeah, I am, and I'm also speaking from years of study in the field of psychology with a specialty in forensic psychology. Feel free to stay intimidated. So when I say dating down, what I am talking about specifically, it does not have to be financial. It doesn't have to be a job position or a title. When we date down, we are dating men that are not worthy of us because they are emotionally, mentally, physically abusive, neglectful, whatever you want to call it. That is exactly what they are, and that is not what we deserve. We deserve happiness and a man that values us for who we are and sees us
Then
as
don't
equals.
say
That's what
dating
we
down
deserve.
means
And
to
that's what
date
men.
somebody in a less fortunate job or somebody that works less money. That's not dating down.
Yeah,
She
actually
just
it is if
described
you
what
make way
dating
more
down
money than me.
was, and
It
she's
is dating
identifying
down.
it as a behavior, not a financial situation. So,
Then if it's not about the money, if we're talking about good men, then why are we talking about money and how much who works? A good man can work in McDonald's. A good man can drive a taxi. And a good man
right,
can be a millionaire. It's not about the money. We're
right,
talking
but that's
about
what
good
she just
men.
said.
Why are we talking about how much they work?
But she just literally said that. She said it had nothing to do about the money or where they work. It's
And
how they
stop the
treat.
capping, bro.
That's how they get treated.
Bro, you capping. You
And
capping. That's not what the
no,
conversation
that's
has been. It's all about
well, it might have been
the
different
average
before, but what
amount
they
a
just
man
described
works a
now is
year and all
different.
that. That's
But it was the other man who was in here,
but
or the other
what she
guy who
just
was in here.
described is
He
a
was the one who brought up
contradiction to
money.
what she had been saying all along.
He was the one, the other guy is the one who brought up money. Nobody else was talking about that. He's the one that he's asking us whether or not we would date down. And he's the one who brought up the example of would you date somebody who works at McDonald's? We're not the ones who did that. We
And
just responded to what he
you
said.
said that you wouldn't date. Chances
I
are
said
you wouldn't date a man at
maybe.
McDonald's.
I
Chances are,
said
yeah, chances are you
maybe.
wouldn't date a man. All right, you said maybe not, maybe. Chances
Exactly.
are you wouldn't. That's what you said after. Chances are you wouldn't because maybe it's not stable. You're looking for somebody stable.
I
But then you
said
said maybe
overall.
he could be working
No,
at McDonald's and have a side
no,
job.
that's not what
So
I
you
said. I
see,
said
it's still coming
maybe.
back to how
I
much the
said
person
maybe I would
earns
not
per
date him because
year.
I don't know
Is
who
it about a
he
good
is.
man or is it about how much the man actually works?
Can we
Well, but
agree that we're looking at someone comprehensively when we decide to date them? Like we're not just looking at these little categories of, whether he's a millionaire, that's
But
just
that's
one
It's
what I
not talking
said.
descriptor.
That's what
about
we keep
dating down.
saying.
There's
He's
no
saying
such
something
thing as
different. I
dating
said that it's
down.
about your character. I don't know what your character is, so why would I just say that I'll date you? So that has nothing to do with money.
I support that. It's about
I don't
character.
need you
It's
to
not about
support it.
money.
You need to shut up and listen is what you need to do because that's not what you're
You need to
doing.
shut up and stop
Now
contradicting
you're
yourself.
getting
You don't even
no.
know
Now
what you're
you're starting
saying.
to irritate me. Now you're starting to
You don't
irritate me
even know
because
what you're saying. You
told
just say
oh
something and
you've
then
been in here
you
for the
say one
last
thing and the next minute you
hour.
change what
You've
you
been
say.
here for the last hour and you heard this. Now you're starting to irritate me. So you're trying to tell me what the fuck I just said. I already told you what I said. Next.
next.
Damn, you
Well, that
like
was
that's what
fun.
you talk about the illogical part of it. We just said that. How many do you speak English? Do you need me to sign language it? Do you need me to send a fucking smoke signal? How many different ways do I have to say it? You keep hearing what you want to hear. Now you're pissing me off. I never said that. Like, and even if I did say that, why do you care? What does that matter to you at the end of the day? I don't speak or represent all of the women in the entire world. We stop acting like you don't see all these women dating straight bums. And then it's like y'all complain about the average man. You're the fucking average man. If women didn't deal with average men, guess what? You'd still be a virgin. Guess what? You never would have had a girlfriend. Guess what? You wouldn't have ever been married. If women didn't deal with the average dude, you wouldn't have ever got a response. So please stop trying to put that on everybody. Anyway, somebody else go and answer the actual question that we're supposed to be speaking about. Should black women date black or non-black men?
Date whomever makes you
Yeah.
happy.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, okay, I just want to say this, and then I'll probably drop back down because if that's the question as far as just interracial dating, I mean, date who is going to make you happy. My only thing is, what I mean, how do you stay connected to your community in the midst of doing that? I mean, I think on both sides, when we're talking about the divestment movement or you're talking about the passport boys, there is a larger disconnect between black men and black women, aside from the romantic part. You know what I mean? You know, we need to learn how to treat each other better. You know what I mean? And I just speak specifically with black men. Black men need to learn how to treat black women better because we're coming out of this era where, you know, women were almost viewed as secondary citizens. And it's just like, I got you. You know, you really don't have any options. Well, women have options. And black men and men in general need to come to the realization that women have these options. They should have always had these options. And so, yeah, you need to kind of rethink the way you look at this entire dynamic because you're looking at this dynamic as looking for someone to be submissive to you. And so when women in America, you know, I'll just speak specifically, are like, hey, we have rights, we have opportunities, we can do this thing on our own. It's like you're running away. Like, I don't want to deal with women who want equality. And that piece is a piece that's hypocritical. Date who you love on both sides. Date who you find attractive. But can we unpack the misogyny? Can we unpack, you know what I mean, the maybe the racism or whatever, you know, is kind of clouding your perception in these decisions that we're making and deal with each other, you know, from a standpoint of equality. That's my main question.
Are you going to answer the question or you want us to answer the question? Because that is a good question. We don't, that's part of the problem. We don't know the answer to that.
Oh, peace. I think the other side of it, I don't want to, because I was kind of posing the question to the group, but I think the answer is in the question. You know, you need to be able to learn how to deal with women. You know, I'm just speaking specifically for men. You need to learn how to deal with women and unpack, you know, the sexism and the misogyny when we engage in these decisions in these conversations. How do you do that? I think first it goes back to doing work in how you came up to get those ideas. How did you get those ideas from your childhood? How did you get those ideas from watching your mother and father interact? How did you get those ideas from like your friend group in growing up and unpacking it from there? Because a lot of times when we're trying to reduce, because what I heard a lot in this conversation was, oh, well, women are trying to reduce men to a paycheck or to income. And that's a stereotype. So we're basing our vitriol or our conversation based on the stereotype that we feel women feel about us, when really that's just a patriarchal norm. The patriarchal norm is men are the provider. You know, so i.e., if you work in McDonald's, you're not worth anything. That's just capitalism. But what we do have to look at is, okay, if you are working at McDonald's, what are the other circumstances surrounding that's shaping your character? If you're financially stressed out all the time, if you've been stuck there for 5-10 years and you're not seeing any mobility, you may very well be a depressed person. You may very well be an angry person. You may very well be a person that might be doing things under the table to supplement the income because McDonald's is not paying you enough. So when you're looking at the probability of, hey, is this person going to be able to treat me well, which is the main goal in having a relationship? Is this person going to be able to treat me well? Is this person going to be able to, or are they going to be envious? Are they going to be jealous? Are they going to be, you know, because I am making more money? You know, is their ego going to be able to handle being in a relationship with a woman that's making more money? So we have a lot to unpack before we get into just, it's just income. The millionaire on the other side of it, all right, you got $1 million. Are you going to try and use that money to control me? Are you going to try to use that money as leverage to get me into an abusive situation? So all those things come into play. And men have to look at that as well. I mean, you don't want to get into an abusive relationship with a woman. You have to look at the entire comprehensive picture. And we have to really do a lot of therapy work, a lot of, you know, inner self-reflection to see, okay, what are the downsides of my own personality? You know, am I a narcissist? Do I have, you know, evidence of sociopathy? Has my environment taught me to be a little bit manipulative? And what are some ways that I can work around it and circumvent that? So then the next person I get with, I'm not hurting them. You know, because if you love somebody, you don't want to hurt them. You know what I mean? And even if you have an interest or admiration about somebody, you don't want to hurt them. But if you're toxic, the very things that that you admire about a person, that you think are beautiful about a person, you may begin to resent about that person. So, I mean, that's my whole thing. You know what I mean? We want to be in healthy, beneficial relationships, whether that's short term, long term, in the middle. We want to be in a relationship that builds us up and enhances our life and not tears us down. But right now, it seems like with a lot of relationships, the probability of you getting into a healthy relationship is low because a lot of people haven't done that reflection, and part of that is because we're just in this hamster wheel. You don't have time to do that inner work. You just spinning your wheels, working, going to sleep, doing all of those things. So those are the conversations I feel we need to have. You know what I mean? It's about, okay, how can we unpack some of the things we learned that were wrong as children or as teenagers or whatnot, or in this culture, which is toxic in and of itself, so that we can have better relationships all the way around.
So what do you feel is what would you feel is the first step for that? Because I feel like you're kind of providing a solution, but what are the steps to get to that solution?
So I can only speak for men because I don't have the experience of a woman or whatnot. But I think some of these things have carryover. I think, like for me, the first step is always recognizing that there's a problem. And in listening, in a lot of conversations, we don't really recognize what the problem is. We always want to point a finger at someone else and say, "Oh, well, women are. If only women would be more submissive. If only women would be more, whatever traditional womanhood is supposed to be, then I could be a man." But manhood is not based. You can't base your manhood on another person. You know what I mean? You have to base your manhood on who you are, on your own character, and on your own merits. So looking at, okay, what is the actual problem with me? Why am I in these particular cycles? And what does it mean to be a man independent of the relationship? How do I want to show up as a man with all of my relationships, regardless of what the other person does? And when you know those things, you can determine what situations you want to be a part of and what situations you don't want to be a part of. And when you can make those decisions up front, because it's real hard once you get into a relationship, you 5-10 years in to then determine, oh shoot, I'm in the wrong relationship. No, you don't want to do that. You want to make those decisions up front. So the first step is to recognize what some of those problems are. You know what I mean? One of those problems are individual, who I am, how I grew up, and another one of those problems is societal. You know what I mean? What are the things that are going on in our society that are toxic? So you want to manage both of those things going into, as we engage in this society. And hopefully the second step would be to find methods of healing from those things that hurt you. Because if you're hurt and you're wounded and you're going into a relationship, odds are there's going to be some, if you're not hurting or wounding the other person, there's definitely going to be some blood loss because you haven't healed yet. So first step, identifying what the problem is, finding out where your wounds are, and then trying to find methods to heal them.
Okay, now with that, do you feel at all? Because I've discussed with quite a few men over the years. Do you feel like, as you're a man and you're speaking just for the man perspective, do you feel like men do have an issue with accountability?
Yeah, I would say big facts. I think that looks differently for every person. I'm not going to put all men into one particular box, but I think if we're looking at just from a societal perspective, and you have male privilege, meaning your society benefits you in a way based on where you're situated. So as men, we have some things that we definitely don't necessarily have to think about that women do. Then from that standpoint of privilege, you're not going to have accountability in certain situations. You're not going to be, and I think one of those things is being accountable for our emotions, because we spend a lot of our lives, and I'm speaking in general, so I know that, but we spend a lot of our lives in general not dealing with a lot of our emotions or how our emotions affect other people. So if you're in a relationship and you're not used to expressing the full range of your emotions and sharing that with other people, then that's going to cause, some static right there. If the only emotion you're comfortable sharing with is your anger or your frustration, and you or just a blanket stoicism where you just don't show any emotion because that's how you've been socialized because you think I'm only logical, then you haven't really learned how to manage those emotions or express them well. That can show up in a various ways where you're not able to really love in certain ways or love to meet the needs of your partner. And that depends on who your partner is, of course. If your partner is a person who that stoicism resonates with them and that's what they're looking for, then maybe that works perfect for you. But if you're with someone who is actually looking for other emotions from you than that, they want to experience your joy and they want to experience your happiness and they want to see you in those sad moments, you know what I mean? And they don't want to be shut off when you're in pain, then you have some growing to do.
So is that a yes or a no?
If I had to answer in a yes or no, I would say yes. We do have an accountability issue.
So without all the word salad, what would you say would be the solution for um, men? How men can go about holding themselves accountable for their failures?
Sure, and I apologize if it sounds like word salad. That's not my intention at all. Um, so a couple things. If you're looking for accountability, I think self accountability is the best accountability. Meaning, you set down some goals, you set down some principles that you are going to adhere to, and you adhere to those principles. Now, that's the best form of accountability, but it's not the easiest form of accountability, and it's probably not the first form you're going to find. Um, you need a group of people that are going to keep you accountable. So other men who have similar goals that you can speak honestly with and work that way. You also need that accountability with your partner. So same thing, setting down some goals, some principles, some things that you're going to adhere to, and then having open conversations about that regularly. It's not.
If I may interject,
Yeah,
I would.
absolutely.
While I agree, sir, with what you are saying, absolutely. I would also like to add, in my opinion, as a woman, I think that men holding other men, not just ones that you click with, but other men, say you're on another live and you hear a guy say, well, maybe you wouldn't have been R-worded if you hadn't been wearing what you were wearing. No, cut that right then and there. That is victim blaming, and like that accountability needs to be done right then and there. Holding other men accountable, regardless if you click with them, if they are in your circle, being able to do that is a huge thing because a lot of responsibility gets put on women that should not be put on us. And that is not,
I see what you're saying.
or that is not just ours. If we both laid down and did not use protection and we got pregnant, okay, that is on both of us. But if we laid down, used protection, and that protection failed, and then you want to blame everything on me, start calling me out of my name, like, no, dude, you laid down with me too. That's one example. That's one example. But holding men accountable, even though you may not know them, I just want to stress that.
No, that's a great point. So we're talking about also like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I guess, when I hear the accountability issue come up, and it comes up a lot in a lot of different contexts, I'm kind of lost and confused because I get the impression that people think that, doing these public displays of stuff is going to actually change people's thought process and change their behavior and stuff like that. And I really don't see that happening because the key component to accountability is relationship. Okay, I need to have a relationship with an individual to respect them enough to hold me accountable. For example, I could say, sir, I'd like you to hold me accountable because I respect what you're doing. I respect what you say. I want you to hold me accountable so that I live to a higher standard that I set. That's part of the problem. I hear a lot of this accountability or people wanting to yell at each other on lives, thinking that it's actually changing mentality, and it's not. it doesn't do that. If they might not talk about it in front of you anymore, that's about it. And then you're causing division in relationships amongst everyone,
So are
not
what
just
you
gender.
so is
No, I
what you're
don't.
saying? So is what you're saying that for a man,
Sure.
for you
For
as a
anyone.
man, or for a
Yes,
man
go ahead.
for anyone, you're saying that they need other people to hold them accountable?
If people think that accountability is the answer, the component to accountability is having basically a relationship or discipleship or something like that, or apprenticeship, you know, to make those relationships happen. Otherwise, you just have a bunch of people acting like they're the moral police, and this is how you should live your life, which just always usually leads to rebellion for the
like. I
majority of
don't.
people.
I don't think Lady Artemis, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think she was talking about virtue signaling or doing something for show. Like I saw her venturing off into dismantling rape culture when she talked about that. Like, when you
I didn't
talk
say anything
about
about for show.
people.
I don't. Go ahead.
No, no. I mean, I'm saying as far as what her point was is, I mean, when you see men demonstrating behavior that is in that pyramid, I mean, when you see the locker room talk, or you see people that are, being verbally degrading towards women, we know that that behavior escalates. That someone who thinks that that behavior is unchecked gets braver and braver to do more and more, outrageous things as they act out misogyny. So what I saw her saying is, hey, if you're not only that self individual accountability about the type of person you want to be, but also the accountability in society saying, hey, we're going to disrupt this. We're not going to allow this particular behavior, whether that's online or offline.
Well, and again, I mean, you're not gonna. I don't understand the purpose of it. I mean, we've been talking about racism for crap longer than I've been alive, and people still do it. It's not like the stuff gets better that way, you know. So when it comes right down to to the topic of dating black women dating white men, this is what I would say. You have a right to make a decision with your life. You can either let everyone else set your standards and give you your value systems if you want to, or you can make your own determination at the end of your life. Where do you want to have gone?
Hold
Do
on,
you
wait.
want to
I
just
have to
cross
stop
people
you.
out
I
or
have to
keep
stop
going?
you. I have to
Go
stop
ahead.
you because that doesn't make sense to me, and I can't let that continue.
Okay, well, you want me to explain it
So
differently then?
again, to go back to that point, you're saying again, is it just a yes or no?
Yeah.
Are you saying that in order for a person to be held accountable, they need someone else to be held accountable?
You mean to be held accountable to? Is
You
that what you're
said
saying?
that the people, in order for people to be held accountable, that they need relationship.
Well, you can have a relationship with yourself, right? You can try to hold yourself accountable, but 9 times out of 10, people negotiate with themselves rather well, and they can justify any action or behavior that they commit. But I mean, if you're good at it and you're holding it to your own values and things, then those individuals usually aren't the ones that we're talking about. But no, you don't need somebody else
Okay,
to hold you accountable if you don't want to.
okay.
You can
So
be accountable yourself.
if you're okay, I just want to quickly say for that part, if you're justifying yourself out of something that you know that you did wrong, that's not holding yourself accountable. Now, even more when you get into that, you're saying that you don't. Is this what you were saying? That you feel like accountability is not necessary, basically.
No, I was
You don't see
asking a
why.
question. I was asking the question. Hey, Nalini. I was asking the question when people say it, when they talk about this accountability. I don't understand fully what they're asking for because I don't understand accountability to work the way I think they're trying to explain it. So that's why I say if you want to explain it to me, then I could see how that would work. But
Well, can you? I
essentially, I
would
don't.
really love for you to explain to me what when somebody says you need to hold yourself accountable. Can you explain to me what you think that is?
Well, when someone says you need to hold yourself accountable, when they say that, then I think it's a matter of saying that they have a certain set of standards or whatever it is that they feel that you should be applying into your life, and you need to do those actions yourself. That's what I would understand that to be. If someone says, I'm
What
going
do
to
you
hold
mean by that?
myself accountable.
What do you mean by
Say
that?
again.
You said you feel like accountable. If somebody tells you you need to hold yourself accountable, you think that it means that they're asking you that you believe that it means that they have a certain set of standards that they want you to hold yourself to.
Right. Or is that not the context in which you find that often to me? That's the way I take it. Otherwise, I
That's
would
No,
assume that
no,
everybody's
that's
holding
not
themselves
what
accountable.
accountability means.
I
Well, go
believe
ahead.
it, and correct me if I'm wrong. What I think, Jerry, what she means is accountability in this sense is taking personal responsibility and acknowledging your wrongs and your errors. If I'm understanding host correctly.
Oh, that could be. Is that what you mean?
That's typically what the universal understanding of accountability was, I thought. It's not about somebody trying to project their own personal standards onto you. This is accountability. Let me give you an example. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad you admitted this, cuz I've been talking about accountability for I don't know how long, and I'm not saying that women don't have anything to be held accountable for. I acknowledge that they do, and I continuously tell women that they need to hold themselves accountable. But I specify men because a lot of times men respond to me with, "Well, what do we need to be accountable for? There's nothing that we did wrong. What do you mean?" For you to say that you don't exactly know what accountability means, this is very eye opening.
Well,
It's
I
not
mean,
somebody trying to push their is let me give you an example of what it is.
mhm.
Okay, if there's a mother and there's a or if there's a woman and there's a man and they have a
Okay.
kid together,
Okay.
and then say the man decides to leave, so then
Okay.
he leaves the woman to be a single mother. So
Okay.
typically, what's done and how things usually go is that women are held accountable as though the quote unquote blame, which is not really blame, but they're saying, oh, well, it's the woman's fault because she shouldn't have slept with him in the first place. Well, it's the woman's fault because she should have, you know, not she should have took the plan B or whatever the case. At the end of the day, anything that she tries to say at any time with like, oh, he's such a deadbeat, then they say, well, you should have chose better. So they're trying to hold her accountable for her actions. But seldom do people hold the man accountable for leaving. Nobody says, well, why weren't you there as a father? And a lot of times when you tell men this, then men, like even the other day, we had this conversation, and I specifically asked a group of men similar to a platform like this, and the man said the reason why it's not his fault for why he left is because the woman should have fought for him. So yet again, that's
Mm.
putting the blame and holding the woman accountable instead of himself. Even there's other grown men that said, well, men can't be held accountable for their actions. They're not responsible for what they do right or wrong. No, well, right, they want the credit for right, but they can't be held accountable. They can't be held responsible for what they do wrong because men, and this is not a fact, but this is what other men were saying, is that men don't fully mature until after the age of 35. And so if a woman is dealing with a man before the age of 35, she should already know what she's getting herself into. And it was also stated that a man does not have a full deck of cards, is not operating from a full deck of cards until after the age of 35. So if a woman is dealing with him and she gets screwed over, she should have known that. So it's about you aren't taking responsibility for your actions overall.
is my mic
Okay.
on?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I want to
Yeah.
say, most of these people that all these statistics and numbers, most of this stuff is subjective to their personal experiences. You cannot generalize everybody.
Well, from what I'm listening to the host talk about is that she's using different examples of situations where people are basically playing the blame game and basically saying you can't hold me accountable for anything because I want to blame somebody else for this situation. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, you kind of got it right, but let's be very clear about what I'm speaking of in this
Okay.
moment. Again,
Okay.
not saying that women don't have anything to be accountable for. We can have that in a different conversation. What I'm trying to
Right.
address right now is the fact that men are the ones not that the men are the ones that are always pointing the finger. You typically don't see men hold the blame because even as you said, you don't even know what accountability means.
Well, I'm
So
saying
if you
I
don't know what
understand.
accountability means, you're not taking accountability. and,
Well,
and I'm just saying that you are not an isolated incident.
right. Well, so
Several
let
men
me.
are clearly in confusion about what that means.
Well, like I'm saying, I understand how I understand accountability. I mean, I don't understand how, like, for example, I'm questioning how somebody else is using the term accountability because what I hear doesn't sound like accountability that I understand. It sounds like something else, which sounds a lot like blaming somebody for their situation. So, but, so for example, so a lot of the things that you mentioned about men saying, coming up with these excuses, if you will, like they're not mature until they're 35. Women should have known these things. All that. That to me is just a bunch of blame game, and it's actually ridiculous. So anybody and if they're going to say that, right, that's going to be their position, that it's the woman's fault that the man left and all that stuff. Then that's just a red flag that individual is not at that state of either awareness or willing to take on the understanding of how relationships work and how responsibilities work. To me, that's completely different. So
So
the
can I
But I
ask you,
think
accountability
based
we're
off
part
of
not.
would
that,
be
why is that
what?
happening? Why are they unwilling to take responsibility for the things that they did wrong? Just a guess. You don't have to be right. Just throwing a conversation out there. Why
Well, I
would you
think I
assume that
think
a
it's
man is unwilling to take responsibility for the things that he's done wrong?
well. So you have the problem. One is the perception of doing wrong in the first place. So if that's a conflict, that's one thing. Like, I don't agree. She treated me this way, or she cheated on me, or she did this, or whatever. They'll justify why they left and why they're not responsible or did anything wrong. They feel like within the confines of the moral structure in which they live by, they're fine. The other thing is, as far as responsibility goes, they don't like the cost of responsibility. I don't want to play this game. I don't want to do this. It's not worth it to me. This is an alternative for me to do instead. I can just walk away. You know, that's a part, you can't, people don't necessarily always answer the call or of their responsibility. And
It's a
there's not always something you can do about it.
it's a
Go
lack of
ahead.
empathy. It's a lack of empathy on both sides of the relationship. There's women out there that lack empathy. There's men that's out there that's lacking empathy. Everybody there's women and men thinking about what are they gonna get out of the relationship and not what can I do for my partner. Okay, I'm done.
But I think the
Well, and
primary difference is the obvious difference is that the woman is the one that's left holding the baby. You know what I mean? So in many cases, the natural response to you having a live human being that you carried for 9 months, that you went through childbirth pains with, and now you have this baby in your arms, is that I'm gonna take care of this baby. I just invested the last 9 months of my life in bringing this baby to term. So I'm definitely gonna make sure I can do what I need to do to take care of this baby. And I just see many women make that decision. Some women don't, but many women make that decision. Whereas a man goes through none of that. They watch the woman go through it, and in many cases, like, oh, she got it. You know what I mean? She's a good woman. She's gonna do what she need to do for that kid. I can just go ahead and do my 1-2 if we not working out, and if we're not working out in the way I think we need to work out, then I can go elsewhere. I can take my
And
talents. You
and
know what I
you know
mean? To
what's the
South
reason for
Beach.
that? You know what the reason that for that is because men and women are not asking the right questions when they sit down and then, they have dinner or date or whatever they do to get to know each other. They're worried about what they could get in for themselves. We're not asking, hey, do you want a man that's paying all the bills or just wants to go 50-50? That's an important question we should be asking, but we're always worried about the negative side and what other people are saying in the comments. And I'm done there.
What I'm saying is it's not just like a tit for tat like that. It's not a balanced scale because you have one person who naturally, if people go their separate ways, it's normally the woman that has the baby in her arms when they go separate ways. So if we're asking the question, well, why is it so easy for men to not be accountable? I'm just citing that biological reason, the way childbirth happens, it could be one of those reasons. You know what I mean? We said guess, you know what I mean? I'm not going to give you a statistic based on that. But if you're saying, hey, why is it easier for men to walk away than it is for women? In many cases, it's because of the child, you know what I mean? And the way childbirth happens. Now, should it be that way? No, because you are contributing just as much, you know what I mean? You are the father in that it takes two people to make a baby. So
Yeah,
the accountability part is even if we don't work out, even if you hate my guts, I'm still going to do what's necessary to make sure this child is good. And part of making sure that child is good is making sure we have an amicable relationship. We can be at least PC with each other. You know what I mean? We
exactly.
cannot argue every time we see each other because it's not good for the child. So even if we're not together, we should be able to do that. But what we see a lot of times is that's not happening. And so, I don't like you. We didn't work out romantically. And since I can't have you the way I want you, then I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna go over here because, because my manhood is based on that. You know what I mean? My manhood is based on me being able to control the situation. And if you got the child and
Well,
I'm on the hook for child
uh,
support, then I don't necessarily have the control in the situation, i.e. can't be the man in the situation. So I'm a bounce.
Yeah, I agree. There's no debate on that. Once you have the
well,
child, once you
you,
bought, you
you,
both made the child, there's no going back from there. Both of you have an obligation to fulfill.
well, but the thing is that no one can hold you accountable to fulfill that. And I think that's what we're talking about is the accountability. And, like you use those examples referring to the biological process of childbirth and stuff like that. And this is just more of the same, mindset that means we have an excuse for our behavior because we have a separation biologically. To me, that's all just BS. You know,
Okay,
you
so
can,
can I ask a
you
question for
go ahead.
um the men on the panel? So with that, so you're saying that it's just easier for a man to leave um his child because he's not the one that's carrying that child. Now, do you at all feel like that would be poor? That would mean that that man has a poor character?
What's the basis of him leaving? Is he leaving, but is he paying child support?
It's
Is
just
he
easy
leaving?
for him to leave, as was stated. It's easier for him to leave. He doesn't carry the child. Maybe it's not working out with the mom, but
Your
it's just
character is
easier for
not,
he has the ability to walk away.
I
So
put it
does that
this way.
please just answer me?
A
Does that
man's
mean
not gonna a man's not gonna walk away unless things that he's asking for is not being fulfilled.
like what?
A
Like what?
mentally stable man.
Wait. Actually,
If
I
they're
have a good question. I have a good question on that. So you're saying like if his needs or if his requirements or whatever, are not being met, as you said, he has reason to leave. What if the requirement is that the baby be a boy and the baby is a girl? Does he then have the right or requirement to walk away, not pay child support, any of that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not like I said, that's out of his control whether the baby comes out a boy or a girl.
Okay, so but do
So,
you
so
feel
to,
like I mean, did y'all didn't even answer the question. It's
to
really a
answer your
yes or no
question, it
question.
is a lack of character. Your character is not tested until you do something difficult. We have no idea what your character is until you're presented with something that actually tests who you are, who your character is. And that would be one of those tests of your character. If it's easy, you know what I mean, if she's just like this great person, just beautiful, you know what I mean, does everything you want for, every time, then your character is not really tested in that relationship because you're getting everything that you want. It's only until you're buffeted with an
Yeah.
obstacle or a difficulty that you can learn what your character is, even you as a person. So yeah, that is a lack of character. If you're not gonna take care of that child, unless it's like, I know there's sometimes abusive relationships where maybe the woman is trying to kill you or something like that, or the man is trying to kill you, or something crazy. But other than an abusive situation, no, you that's your child. You know what I mean? You take responsibility for that kid and make sure they're good. And that can take different forms, but I think a lot of times what we see is, oh, well, I don't want to deal with that child because there's another man in the picture. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to deal with her other dudes, so I'm not gonna get involved. Or you know what I mean? Every time we try to talk about the child, we wind up being in an argument. You know what I mean? And there's men. I'm not saying that this is like a blatant statement. There's men who go through that fire to do what they need to do for their child. I'm not saying there's not men who do
Okay,
that,
so for
but
076, you said that you basically said it was reasonable for a man to leave if he's not getting his needs met. So what I would deduce from that is that you're saying it's okay to abandon your child if your needs are not being met. Is that correct?
No, it's not. I didn't say that. If we're talking about the relationship, yes, he can leave. But as far as leaving, abandon, not taking your care of your child, the duties, no, that's still an obligation.
Right, but that was the question that was asked. It wasn't about leaving the relationship. We're talking about walking away from the child.
Okay, no, no,
And you
no,
said yes because
no.
your personal needs weren't being met. So are you
Oh no,
changing that
no,
statement?
because it's like you guys gotta keep the questions to straight to the point. But you got all over the place. No, it's not
Okay,
okay.
so can you provide an answer as to under what circumstances is it okay for a man to abandon his child?
Under no circumstance at all. Once the child is
Okay,
born,
perfect. And that's fine. You don't have to add anything else. Now, can we follow up? And nobody's saying you, nobody's saying that it's a personal attack on you. But the reality, are we gonna deny the fact that there are men who abandon their children?
yes, there's men that
And with those men, okay, would you say that that is a lack of character?
yes, it is.
It, I would say
Okay,
yes that men do leave
thank
children.
you.
I'm not going to say that it's
Okay,
necessarily a lack of character or anything else. I look at life differently. I look at what's really happening. I'm not going to throw judgment into it or morals or any of that. I'm just wondering, this is happening. Why is it happening? And if we want a different result, what do we do? But so I said, yes, it happens a lot.
okay. So with you, Jerry, I
Yes.
want to continue asking you some questions. So you're saying that you don't feel like it. Okay, so again, given the setting, if a man is abandoning his child, you're saying again to clarify that that is not a lack of character.
I'm not making a decision that it's a judgment. I'm not
So
making a
you feel
judgment.
like you right,
I'm going to
okay.
say
So
I'm
you
going to
feel like
focus on.
you're
Go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just focusing on the fact that this is the evidence. This is what happened. I can get to try to understand the gentleman as to why he did it. Was there pain and suffering in his life? Was he struggling with some kind of depression and he just lost it and just distanced himself? He didn't have support. Who knows? Whatever reasons those are, to me, doesn't make a whole big difference on what kind of person he is today or possibly tomorrow. He might do it again. He might be more likely to do it again if he's done it once, but that doesn't mean he's going to.
So do you feel like okay, say if you were trying to achieve a goal and stuff
Mhm.
got hard, so you gave up. Do you feel like that says anything about your character? About your ability to persist? at all?
I would say that we all have a right to decide when we're full, when we
I,
can't do it anymore. And I
I
don't
want
want to judge a person, but I would say, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? You know, going forward, and then set
I,
a course of action.
I
You
would
know, say I didn't want to stay in that relationship anymore, so I ran off. I started to cheat. I did this. Yes, we have a child together. Okay, so now where you're at now, do
Okay,
you
can
want to
then
try to be
I
a
ask
father, or
you?
do you not want
I'm
to be
trying
a
to get to the
father?
point with this. So, say there's a say a serial killer. If there's a serial killer, do you feel like they have good or bad character, or are you undecided?
I would say, well, if you look at history, a lot of people say they have great character. You know, when they were before they were discovered doing these things. So, you know, but in the end, it's something that's not beneficial for our society.
So
So,
undecided.
I want to
Characters
So
who
you're
are
interject.
in the
saying they
dark.
have good character?
I'm saying I don't personally know any serial killers, so I don't know.
Well,
But
Jerry, honey, no.
Here,
I know what you're trying to say, but I think what you're confusing is the psychopathic tendencies of a serial killer who typically are psychopathic. They tend to be very charming and charismatic, and they
right,
give off that vibe as a way of blending into their surroundings. I think that's what
manipulation.
you're
sure,
confusing. I think that's what
yeah, okay, that
you're
could be,
confusing.
yeah, yeah, I would agree. That's exactly what I mean.
Another thing, but I want to say that the only two ways a man abandoning his child, he had character, he didn't want to do it, or the mother was making it extremely hard for him because he didn't want to be in a relationship with her. That's the only two ways I see a man not wanting to have that obligation.
Well, what does a woman making it extremely hard look like, if I may ask?
Because the man doesn't want to be in a relationship with her or get married to her, so she wants to move to
Okay,
another state.
okay, but that's the man, but that's the man. So I'm honestly not trying to pick on you. I'm really not. I'm really trying to understand. You said if the woman is
Mm.
making it difficult. So I'm just wondering what specifically
They're
the woman could be doing.
trying to elaborate on that because there's many stories on TikTok that I've seen from other men saying the woman, their baby mother, moved to another state and they had a fight for joint custody and they had to live in hotels and do all this crazy stuff and spend money. They're going broke because they're trying to have joint custody of their child and they're fighting for it and they have to go to court and spend all these court fees and things like that on lawyers.
And that would be the men, right? That are doing that. You said the baby mom moved away, right? I'm just understanding your scenario. Baby
Yes,
mom moved away. And the man wants to see his child, so he went after, and now they're in court. There's legal fees, there's hotel fees, etc. Right? Are we still on the same page?
that, that was their mother. There's people in the comments saying, yes, my mother did that to my father. I'm watching the comments right now.
Okay, it's fine, but I'm also wondering what led up to that, because now the responsibility is being put back on the mom. Is there an abusive relationship that the kids didn't know about? Is there cheating going on? I mean, why is the responsibility once again being put on the women and it's not being put on the men?
Because we cannot generalize every relationship
You can't
as, oh,
generalize
it
every
was.
relationship, but you can generalize it if it means women are being held
I know
accountable.
and Lady
So,
Artemis is asking me what is the standpoint on why she would leave. Some of the relationships are based off of because and she chose to be petty and make his life harder.
so,
Can we agree on something before we get too far away from this from the point about character? Can we agree that character is who you are when no one's watching? Like character, what people's perception of your character is one thing, and we all feel we're good judges of character, and we can kind of see into a character of who person is. But actual character is what you do when no one's watching. So, what I mean, when you talk about a serial killer having, we don't know whether they have good character or not. If they're a serial killer, we know they don't have good character because that's what they were doing when no one was watching. If you're a cheater, whether you get caught or
Yeah,
not, you don't have good character because
that's
that's what you were
definitely
doing
part of it.
when no one was watching.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. It is what you do when no one's watching because you're not trying to do it for brownie points. It's just who you are. But then there are certain actions that you can take, obviously, where people can see it, and then that should be able to help you to determine their character. Because at the end of the day, if you do have a good character, in most cases, there can be certain circumstances that can change, but in most cases, especially in the ones where we're talking about, where you're impregnating somebody and having a child with them, or you're dating them, you should be able at some point to determine whether or not they have good character or not. I feel like that's pretty simple and that should be pretty obvious, but apparently it's not as cut and dry as that. But either way, apparently you can't determine whether a serial killer is of good character or not. But anyway, my point is, obviously, if somebody, well, y'all are making excuses. And see, that's what excuses are called. There's the difference between making excuses and holding yourself accountable. Y'all are worried about blame when it comes to accountability, but accountability is being able to take the blame. Take the blame so you can take the correction. Now, we're getting off on a long tangent and we can go back and forth all day and we can talk about this all day. But the root cause of what the importance of taking accountability is because that's the only way, the only possible way in the entire world that we can actually get to a solution. So the reason why I'm pushing so hard to try to get this idea of accountability and try to encourage this taking accountability, because everybody wants to, again, it's been happening all week. Everybody wants to jump to unicorn fairy tale land where everything's so perfect and we all love each other and we all forgive each other and we're all kumbaya and around the fire. But nobody wants to go to the problem because everybody views it as, they don't want to take their own personal accountability. But we have to go into the problem. We have to be on the same page about what the problem is. Then we all need to individually split up and do our part so that we can get to the solution. That's the only way we can get to a plan. But when I say, and I sit here and I say men need to take accountability, when I say women need to take accountability, if your response is, well, women do this, you're not taking accountability. If your response is, well, what problem? Because you can even look at the comments that were there before. I said men need to take accountability. People said, what do we need to be accountable for? You just said, which I keep using you, Jerry, because I know for a fact you're not the only one in the world that apparently doesn't know what accountability means. That's how foreign it is to you. So if accountability is the first step in healing, that means that a lot of y'all are not getting to the healing. And we need the healing so that we can change the world. It's the only way. But we have to acknowledge that the problems, you need to acknowledge the problems that you're a part of in yourself. So when and so I asked a question about, because y'all always want to talk about again, y'all want to jump to fairies and glitters and y'all want to talk about having a family unit. But we can't get to a family unit if the foundation is unstable. And part of the foundation is that's unstable is single mothers and then the fathers that make them single mothers. So there has to be accountability on both sides, but a lot of the men are not taking accountability for the fact that they're leaving the homes and they're making excuses as to why it's okay to abandon their child,
Well, as
which
I
that
can't
would go
speak
back
for
to
those
you're not
men,
choosing a.
we can't speak for those men that do that. But
Of
to
course
add
not.
on,
Of course you never
No,
can. Of course you never can. Men
what?
never can speak for. You're blind to
No,
everything. Look. Listen to me. Listen to me. Let me show you. Let me show you an example because maybe that's what the confusion is. Maybe we don't know what that is. So again, everybody's seen here, and I'm not gonna. We don't need to hear anybody speak. I don't need y'all to speak now on it. Okay, so there's men here, and look at the comments. Y'all keep reading the comments. As we can see, no man can take up and take accountability and acknowledge the fact that there's men who are doing things wrong. They want to talk about, well, it's not me. Well, it's not me. Well, it's not me. But, and then somebody say that it's about relationships. So even if that was the case, that part of accountability is other people holding you accountable. But notice how men don't want to hold other men accountable and they don't want to listen to it when it comes from a woman. Now, look at me. I don't have any kids.
okay, I get what you're saying. It needs to be
I
more
don't
men calling other
thank
men
you.
out.
I don't have That's part of the thing. You want to talk about what you aren't doing in your small corner of the world, or no, you